On my last trip to Toronto, I stopped by a store called Camouflage. They got a huge selection of various knives and odd things. I was going there to pick up a training knife that was getting hard to find. Just plain old training knife wear. Anyways, I saw this thing. I'm like, how much is that thing? Like, oh, it's 25 bucks. Well, obviously I need to get that. Not because it's useful, because, not so much. It was sold as a keychain pry tool, but it's made of plastic, thick plastic, but you're not prying anything with it by any stretch of the imagination. And there's really nowhere good to put a key ring on it, because you can put something through here, but then it would be really in the way. It would not work. And not working is kind of the theme of this device. You could hold it like this, but then if you hit anything with it, it hurts. It jams right back in the fingers, and it's really stupid. You can hold it this way, which seems to be the way it's meant to be, because you can do a few things. One, you can thumb cap it, or being able to jab, and you can, without it hurting your hand. But you can see how your index finger ends up very far forward. And when testing it out on a striking target made of dense foam rubber and coated in leather, you can end up having it contact there, and then it jams that back, and that feels very uncomfortable. So it's not entirely useless. It's not like my other video of 4 useless self-defense items. You can, impact a certain amount. You can certainly jab very nastily, but it's also quite large. You compare this thing to the size of a full-size pocket knife, Spyderco Military, with its 4-inch blade, and look, this thing's pretty big. It's long. It's longer than that thing when it's folded. You're not going to be comfortably carrying that thing in a pocket. It's not the most feasible thing. It does do what it's meant to do, which is get people to spend money, which I did because it looks neat. I showed it to one of my friends afterwards, who's a sensitive poet and jazz musician, and of course he looks at this thing and he's like, ugh. You couldn't see why anyone would want something like this. I showed it to my wife when I got home, and she's like, well, of course you had to get that. It just makes sense. So I'm going to give this a grade of not entirely useless. It is not. It's almost well designed. If this part here came up flush across there, this could be held like that, and it would not have much chance at all of hitting your index knuckle on anything. Or if this was redesigned so that instead of coming forward, it was further back. But even there, you need to have, then this would have to be thicker backwards. So, as a $25 curiosity on a trip, I think it was a good buy. As far as anything useful, no, it is not so much anything like that. But anyways, I recommend Camouflage Surplus if you're ever in Toronto. It's a fun place with a lot of neat things, including strange things like this that will entice you to spend money that you probably shouldn't.